Good morning, everybody. My name is Christian Pendleton, and I'm the general manager of Brennan's Restaurant in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States.
Christian, we are so happy to have you with us today, and we cannot tell you how excited we are for Brennan's to come to South Africa for your career fair from the 9th to the 24th of August. What is the purpose of the career fair, Christian, for coming to South Africa?
I think the purpose is to come and be inspired by the students and the people of South Africa. This will be our third trip in I don't know, about 5 years. Every time we come, we are happy to be there. We're happy to tell our story, but we're more excited about learning about all the great people of South Africa.
Oh, excellent, Christian. And we can't wait to host you. Who will be traveling with you from the Brennan's group?
So I will be traveling with my boss, Haley Bitterman, who is the director of operations and the corporate chef for the entire company. Mr. Brennan has 8 restaurants. I will also be bringing with me Christina Velasquez. She is the executive sous chef for Brennan's, as well as our pastry chef. And then I will be traveling with Christopher Vasquez, who is the executive chef of one of our sister restaurants, Redfish Grill.
Now, Christian, what makes Brennan Restaurant and Redfish Grill so incredibly special?
I think the first thing is the fact that it is a family-owned business. Brennan's has been around for more than 70 years. We are an icon in American dining. Redfish Grill has been around for more than 20 years. It is often considered at the top or among the very best seafood restaurants in the entire US. And so I think while they are very different restaurants, they are both excellent in their own right. And so it's about telling those stories and seeing which of those stories is interesting to the different students.
Okay, so why would you recommend anyone applying to specifically work at Brennan's for the J1 program? What does Brennan's have to offer in terms of the J1 program?
I think Brennan's and Redfish Grill, what they both offer is really the opportunity to basically get your master's degree in whether that's culinary or pastry or food and beverage. A lot of students around the world, they have a really fine academic experience. And what Brennan's does and Redfish Grill is gives you the opportunity to practice what you've learned in school and perhaps even practice what you've learned in your industry visits, but bring that and come work with us for a year and really understand what you love about our industry, learn what you're not a fan of about our industry, be around other people that share your passions, and continue to develop those skills. And I will tell you that we've had a great success with people that have come and they have really worked for the year that they've been with us. They have found the transition to their next jobs as either young leaders or next jobs, period, to be much more, they've had much better offers and they have had much more success.
Okay, so what we often see with candidates locally, it takes them quite a while to progress in their careers. But speaking to some of the other J1 candidates who've previously worked at Brennan's, especially in culinary, they say that they almost have the opportunity to learn a section, work the section, manage that section, and then be able to teach that section before moving on to the next section. So in reality, they are progressing very quickly within a short amount of time throughout the training program. How true is this and what opportunity for growth would there be for someone within their training program if they really show that they are putting every single effort in to doing their absolute best within their training?
So the one thing that I promise everybody, and really it's the only thing that I promise, is an opportunity. What every student does with that opportunity is what makes people who play for the national rugby team one thing and the people that are still playing in their neighborhood another. Talent plays a part, but it's what is your work ethic? What is your drive? What is your passion? I grew up and I believe that the best way to learn a section is to learn it, to do it, and then teach it to the next person. Because those are different levels of development within any one station. And my culinary team shares that belief. I think sometimes what happens is students come and they believe like, okay, I've got 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 weeks and I want to move on to the next thing. You are not perfecting anything within 2 or 3 weeks or really 2 or 3 months. That being said, we are trying to give you an opportunity, if you earn it, to see as many different stations. Brennan's has 3 different kitchens as we can, but it is dependent on the student, their ability, and their work ethic. If you have it, then no one is going to stop you. It's very important to note that we are always going to do what is best for the restaurant, for the guests, and the rest of our staff first. And it's something that when I'm there, I tell everyone that I speak to. I promise the opportunity. I don't promise the end result because there are things beyond all of our control. But if you come and do a good job, I can assure you that we're going to give you as many opportunities as we can. We're going to teach you as many different things as we can. And we're going to do everything we can outside of work for you to have a great experience in New Orleans and all the crazy that New Orleans offers.
Okay. And what would a typical day or shift at Brennan's look like for a front of house, or let's call it a food and beverage candidate on a J1 program?
So one of the things that makes Brennan's very unique compared to a lot of fine dining restaurants is the fact that it is, number one, Brennan's is a very large restaurant. And so generally speaking, you will be assigned to either, and this changes over the course of the year, but you will work either breakfast or dinner or private events. And depending where you are, so if you work breakfast, for example, you report to work by 8 o'clock in the morning. We feed you. You need to work to get the restaurant set up to open. There is a 30-minute meeting before we open where we discuss what's going to happen on the day. We talk about service techniques or beverage techniques or whatever that might be. And then we open for breakfast at 9 o'clock, and breakfast goes until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We are absolutely seating at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So by the time the last guest leaves, it's typically a little after 3:30. You're closing down your section, and then you're done for the day. The staff generally works 5 days a week. Some staff choose to work more, some choose to work a little bit less. Again, it's what does the staff member want? And within those shifts, you are working within any number of teams to learn about our food, to learn about our wine list. Brennan's was once again named one of the top 100 wine lists in the entire world.
Amazing.
We have more than 20,000 bottles of wine in our cellar, about 3,000 different bottles of wine. So there are classes you can attend if you really want to develop your wine knowledge. We have an extensive bar program. There are classes there that you can attend. So it's really about, what do you want to do with your time? And are you learning our standards of service? Are you learning how to talk to our guests about food? Because there is a way to do it in fine dining. And as I tell people all the time, we don't necessarily do things the right way, but we do them our way. And so just as if I were to come and work at the Oyster Box Hotel in Durban, I would need to learn how they want me to handle their different items with their guests. Or if I was going to work at one of the great hotels in Johannesburg or down in Cape Town, I would need to understand how those managers want me to work. And then I would need to work that way. And so it's the same thing at Brennan's.
Right.